Archbishop, is there any possibility now for reconciliation? We have the impression that things are a little calmer in Bangui, in the capital. What is the possibility for reconciliation now?
The possibility for reconciliation will first go through Central Africans themselves, which means that there will come a time when we all have to sit down around the same table and we have to discuss what's happened to us. What did we do? Take our responsibilities. And at the same time, those who have made mistakes, they should be able to repair those mistakes. That's how justice will enable cohesion, and we will be able to grant forgiveness, and reconciliation will therefore have a meaning.
And Imam, vous avez écrit, I'm sorry, Imam, you have written a letter today as part of your visit to Europe. What is your key demand?
Well, our key demand is to do advocacy with the authorities in the United Kingdom and also the public from Great Britain, because the CAR is in a difficult situation and the population really needs everybody's contribution. And we think the UK is one of the big countries, great countries in this world, and it cannot stay indifferent to the suffering of our country. And hopefully will give us our support and support the deployment of a force in order to secure a UN force to secure the country. Our country is very big, 624,000 square meters. It's a powder keg. So we need enough troops in order to confront this challenge.
To confront that challenge, as you put it, you need a lot of troops. We have a few thousand African peacekeepers. We have a small force of just over 1,000 French soldiers in Bangui and in Bossangoa. You need thousands of soldiers for this job.
You know, the number that had been planned was before the crisis that happened on the 5th of December, before the anti-Balaka. So now with the anti-Balaka phenomenon, we need enough men, and the international community should become mobilized in order to face these two armed groups which have taken the population hostage, which is why we would like it to become a UN mission.
Now, the new president, Archbishop, she has asked very strongly that the people who displaced in Bangui, 100,000 at the airport alone, as we know well, they should now go home, and she's saying it is safe to go home. And yet the people are still there, they're not moving. Is the president right to ask that people should go home, or is it too early?
As you know, people came to the airport for security reasons. Here the people are hesitating to go back home, and that's because they are scared. Maybe in their neighborhood, their neighbor still has a weapon. Maybe we still haven't got rid of the hatred, of the will to take vengeance, which is present in the heart of my neighbor. It's also important to start this dialogue, this meeting, before we go home. Otherwise, you could end up in the wolf's mouth, and it would be a shame to lose lives. We have lost so many lives. Central Africans have shed a lot of blood. So if we could spare a few more lives, it would be good. But I think also it's a legitimate concern of people in charge of a country, that they want their inhabitants to go back to their homes rather than being outside. And as the leader of the country, she is making a plea, and we hope that the security will follow. That means that soldiers, for proximity reasons, they have to be able to move around in order to stem any conflict, and also their presence will appease and enable people to go back home. They stayed because they are scared. When security measures are taken, people will look to going home, and we hope that very quickly, along with other further soldiers, African soldiers that will arrive, that the population will be able to go home and see to their daily business.
So, Imam, the Archbishop speaks very eloquently there about hope, about a vision for the future. Yet at the moment, for you personally, as indeed for the Archbishop, you can travel freely around London, around Paris, around Berlin, and yet it would be impossible for you to travel around Bangui, around your own capital city, wouldn't it? Because of this hatred that the Archbishop talks of.
Yes, it's a concern that you can't move around as you wish to in our country. It's very worrying. And we want the population to get this freedom back. And that's the reason why we are traveling around European cities to ask for extra troops in order to transform also this mission, for it to become an international mission where everybody contributes, for all the conditions to be there in order to enable Central Africans to feel, to be able to move around. At the moment, there is no freedom. We are in the 21st century. And liberty, freedom is a right that everybody should enjoy. And at the moment it's terrible. It's very worrying that a Central African person cannot go from one neighborhood to another. There are barriers that have been erected. There is still impunity that has led to this disaster. And so we want this force in order to be able to face the situation.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much indeed. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you.